Hello and welcome back to another lecture. In this lecture, we are going to learn about VPC pairing. This question is in the AWS certification exam, so I want to cover it. VPC pairing is a network connection between two VPCs that allow instances in both VPCs to be able to communicate with each other through their private IP address. For example, in our reference architecture, we are going to pair VPC A to VPC B. And after we make the pairing connection, the instance in VPC A will be able to talk to the instance in VPC B and vice versa. And we are also going to pair VPC A to VPC C. And the same way, the instance in VPC A will be able to talk to the instance in VPC C and vice versa. Before we pair our VPCs, there are some pairing limitations we should know. The first limitation is you cannot pair two VPCs that have overlapping CIDR block. For example, my VPC A has a CIDR block of 10.0.0.0/16. My VPC B cannot have the same CIDR block. So if you look on VPC B, we have choose a different CIDR block, and that is the first limitation. The second limitation is that there is no transitive pairing. And what that means is that in our example, we are pairing VPC A to VPC B and VPC A to VPC C. So in this case, only these two EC2 instances will be able to talk to each other, and only these two EC2 instances will be able to talk to each other. If the instance in VPC B wants to talk to the instance in VPC C, you have to make another direct pairing connection between both VPCs. The instance in VPC B cannot talk to the instance in VPC C through the instance in VPC A. In this example, we are going to pair VPC A to VPC B, and they are both in the US East region. We are also going to pair VPC A to VPC C, and VPC C is in the Canada region. To complete this exercise, I have created some CloudFormation template. We are going to use this CloudFormation template to create VPC A, VPC B, and VPC C with the EC2 instance in them. Download this template from the description so you can follow along. The next thing I'm going to do is go into the management console. In the management console, the first thing you should do is make sure you are in the US East region, because remember, we want to create our VPC A and VPC B in the US East region. The next thing we are going to do is make sure we have a key pair in this region. So I'm going to select Services, and I'll select EC2 under Compute. On the left side, I'm going to scroll down, and I'll select Key Pairs, and make sure you have a key pair in this region. If you don't have a key pair, just select Create Key Pair and give it a name. If you are using Mac, you can create a PEM file, and if you are using Windows, you can create a PPK file to use PuTTY. So once you have entered your name, select your file format and click Create Key Pair. That's all you need to do. And I'm also going to switch my region to the Canada region. And make sure you have a key pair in this region as well. So that is the two things you need to do. Make sure there's a key pair in both regions. Then I'm just going to go back to the Northern Virginia region. And I'm going to select Services. And I'll select CloudFormation under Management and Governance. I'm going to select Create Stack. I'm going to upload a template file, and I'm going to choose my file. I'm going to select VPC A and select Open. I'll click Next. Under stack name, call it VPC A. Then scroll down. Under key name, select the drop down and select your key pair in this region. Then we are going to click Next and scroll down, click Next and scroll down and click Create Stack. We are creating our VPC A in the US East region. Let's create our VPC B because our VPC B is also in this region. So we are going to create this VPC with the EC2 instance in it. I'm going to minimize. I'm going to select Create Stack with New Resources. I'm going to upload a template file. I'm going to choose a file. I'll select VPCB, open. I'll select next. I'm going to give it a name. I'll call it VPCB. Then I'll scroll down. I'll make sure I select my key pair. And I'll click next. Scroll down, click next, scroll down again, and click create stack. We are now creating our VPC-A and VPC-B in the US East region. Let's switch our region to the Canada region. I'm going to select the drop down and I'm going to select Canada Central. And in this region, I'm going to select create stack. I'm going to upload a template file. I'm going to choose a file. And this time I'm going to select VPCC, select open. Click next. And for stack name, I'm going to call it VPCC. Then scroll down and select your key pair. We are going to click next. Scroll down, click next. Scroll down and click create stack. We are now creating VPCC in the Canada region. I'm going to switch my region back to the Northern Virginia region. And in this region, it has created my two VPCs, VPC-A and VPC-B. If I right click to open in a new tab, and in here, I'm going to select services and I'm going to scroll down to networking and content delivery. I'll select VPC. And I'm going to select your VPCs. In the Northern Virginia region, you can see we have VPC-A and VPC-B. I'm going to right click again to open a new tab. And on this tab, I'm going to select services and select EC2 under compute. And I'm going to select running instances. And you can see we have two EC2 instances running. The first EC2 instance is in VPC-A and the second EC2 instance is in VPC-B. Our VPC and instances were created using the CloudFormation template. Another thing I want you to study is how the security groups are set up between these EC2 instances. For example, if I select the EC2 in VPC-A and I select the security tab, and if I scroll down, you can see the security group how they are set up. For the ICMP traffic, the source is coming from the subnets in the VPC that VPC-A is pairing to. For example, VPC-A is pairing to VPC-B and VPC-C. And these are the subnets in those VPCs. If I open the reference architecture, you can see that the subnet in VPC-C is 10.80.0.0/24. And the subnet in VPC-B is 10.40.0.0/24. That is what we are referencing here, and I just want you to note that. First, we are going to pair VPC-A to VPC-B. So I'm going to go to the VPC tab. On the VPC dashboard, select pairing connections. Then select create pairing connection. We are going to give this pairing connection a name. I'll call it VPC-A to VPC-B. And under VPC requester, we are going to select VPC-A because VPC-A is requesting to pair with VPC-B. Then under the account, this VPC we are trying to pair with is in our account and the VPC is also in the same region. So we are going to select our acceptor VPC, which is the VPC we are trying to pair to. I'm going to select this drop down and I'll select VPC-B. And I'll scroll down and I'll select create pairing connection. I'm going to select OK. Now VPC-A has request to pair with VPC-B and VPC-B has to accept that request. Because VPC-B is in the same region, we can just select actions and select accept request. And we are going to select yes accept and click close. And you can see the status has changed to active. The next thing we need to do to complete this pairing connection is we have to update the route tables for both VPCs. So while I'm still in the VPC, I'll select route tables. And first I'll select the route table for VPC A. I'm going to select it. And I'm going to select the route tab. And I'm going to edit routes. In here, I'm going to add a new route for the destination. For example, if I open our reference architecture, we have VPC A here, and this EC2 instance is talking to the EC2 in VPC B in this subnet. So what we are going to do is we are going to enter the CIDR block of that subnet as our destination. So in here, I'm going to enter 10.40.0.0/24. And on that target, we are going to select the drop down and scroll down and select pairing connection. And we are going to connect it over the VPC A, VPC B pairing. And select save routes and close. We are going to do the same thing for the route table in VPC B. So I'm going to uncheck this and select VPC B. Under the routes tab, edit routes. We are going to add a new route. This time the destination is going to be this. In our reference architecture, this EC2 instance is trying to talk to this EC2 instance. And the destination is going to be the CIDR block of the subnet in VPC A. So we are going to enter that in here. And it is going to be 10.0.0.0/24. And under targets, we are going to select the drop down, scroll down. It is going to be a pairing connection. And we are going to pair it over the VPC A, VPC B. And select save routes. And click close. And that's all we need to do to set up our pairing connection. So if we SSH into the instance in VPC A, we should be able to talk to the instance in VPC B. I'm going to go to the EC2 dashboard and select the instance in VPC A. And I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to select the details tab. And I'm going to copy the public IPv4 address and SSH into this EC2 instance. So make sure you SSH into the instance in VPC A. I'll use PODI. I have now SSH into the EC2 instance in VPC A. From this instance, I want to ping the instance in VPC B to see if we have a connection between those VPCs. So let me minimize this. The first thing I'm going to do in my SSH is I'm going to change to root user. I'll type sudo su. Press enter. And since I have some update available, I'm going to update my EC2 instance. I'll type yum update -y. And press enter. I'll just wait for it to update my EC2 instance and my shell prompt to be available. Now that my shell prompt is available, I'm going to clear the screen. And now I'm going to try to ping the EC2 instance in VPC B. To do that, I'm going to type ping. I want to ping that EC2 instance 4 times. I'm going to use the flag C and 4. Then press space. Then let's copy the private IP of that EC2 instance in VPC B. So I'm going to select that EC2 instance. I'll copy the private IP address, open my SSH session, and paste it in there, and press enter. And you can see that those EC2 instances are able to talk to each other, meaning that we have set up our pairing connection correctly. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to pair VPC A to VPC C, which is in a different region. So I'm going to minimize this. and I'll minimize my SSH for now. And let's go back to the VPC dashboard. In the VPC dashboard, select pairing connections. We are going to create a pairing connection. And for the pairing connection name, we are going to pair VPC A to VPC C. And under VPC requester, we are going to select the drop down, and the requester is VPC A. And under select another VPC to pair it with, that VPC is in our account, but it is in a different region. So I'll select another region. And we are going to select this drop down to select the region that it is in. So I'll scroll down and I'll look for Canada. So Canada is here. I'll select it. And what we need to do is go get the ID of that VPC. Let me just open a new tab and I'll select VPC. And make sure you change your region to the Canada region. I'll select your VPCs. And you can see my VPCC there. When you select it, I'll move this up. Under details, you can copy the VPC ID here. Then let's go back to our pairing connection and paste it in there. Once you've pasted, select create pairing connection and click OK. And now VPC A is requesting to pair with VPC C. So VPC C has to accept that request. And you can see the status of that request is saying initiating request. I'm going to refresh. And now the status is saying pending acceptance. So now we have to go into the Canada region in that VPC and accept this request. So I already have it open here. And I'm going to come down to pairing connection. And you can see the request here. It is saying pending acceptance. So to accept it, I'm going to select actions. And I'm going to select accept request. And I'll select yes, accept. Now click close. And now the status has changed to active. The next thing we need to do is update the route tables. So while I'm in the VPC in the Canada region, I'm going to select the route table. And I'm going to select the VPCC route table. I'll select routes. And I'm going to edit route. I'll add a new route. And the destination is going to be, if I open our reference architecture, this is VPCC. And this EC2 instance is trying to talk to another EC2 instance that is in the subnet of 10.0.0.0/24. So we'll use that subnet CIDR block as our destination. In here, I'll type 10.0.0.0/24. And under targets, we are going to select this drop down. We are going to select pairing connection. And we are going to pair it over the VPC-A and VPC-C pairing connection. And click Save Routes. And close. Let's go back to the tab where we have the VPC in the Northern Virginia region open. I'll select it. And I'll just refresh this. And you can see that the pairing connection is now active. I'm going to select Route Table. Remember, I'm in the Northern Virginia region. I'm going to select the route table for VPC-A. So I'll select route. I'm going to edit route. I'm going to add a new route. And for the destination, let's open the reference architecture. VPC-A is here. And this EC2 instance in this VPC is trying to communicate with the EC2 instance in VPC-C. So the destination is going to be the CIDR block of the subnet this EC2 instance is in. And the CIDR block is 10.80.0.0/24. I'm going to minimize and I'll type it in here. Then under targets, we'll select the drop down. We are going to scroll down and select pairing connection. And we want to pair it over VPC-A and VPC-C connection. Then select Save Routes and close. And we have completed our pairing connection. If I open back up my SSH session And this time, remember I'm still in the VPC A. Now I want to ping VPC C from VPC A. So what I will do is on the EC2, let me change my region to the central region. And I'm going to select the EC2 instance in my VPC C. I'm going to copy the private IPv4 address and open back up the SSH session. And I'll ping it 4 times again. I'll type ping flag Z4 space, and I'm going to paste that private IP address for that VPCC EC2 instance and press enter. And there you go. The EC2 instance in VPC A is able to communicate with the EC2 instance in VPC C. If I was to SSH into the EC2 instance in VPC C, I should also be able to ping the EC2 instance in VPC A. This is how you set up VPC pairing connection. Next, let's clean up our environment and terminate our stack. I'm going to minimize this. And I'm going to open my VPC dashboard in the Northern Virginia region and select pairing connections. And we are going to select our VPC connections and delete it. I'm just going to delete that. And I'll select delete related route table entries. Yes. And I'm going to delete the second connection too. I'm going to select actions, delete it, select that, and select yes, delete. Once you have deleted that pairing connection, you can now delete your stack. I'm going to go to the CloudFormation stack. I'll select VPC A. I'm going to delete it. I'll select VPC B, and I'm going to select delete, and I'm going to delete it as well. And I'm going to change my region to the Canada region. I'm going to select VPC C, and I'm going to delete that stack as well. And after some time, you should delete your VPC stack with the EC2 instance in them. Let me change back my region again to the Northern Virginia region. And you can see it has deleted the VPC A stack. I'm going to refresh. And it has also deleted the VPC stack. So let's go back to the EC2 instance. I'm going to go to the Northern Virginia. There is no EC2 instance in there. Let's switch back to the Canada region. There is also no EC2 instance. And if we go to the CloudFormation stack and change our region to the Canada region, there is no stack. So this is how you clean up your environment. Thank you guys. If you like this lecture, please like and share it. And thank you, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.